Breath of Aeliana. You know that feeling, don't you? That dull ache right behind your ribs, the one that tells you you're not quite living the life you're supposed to, that you're less. Maybe you look in the mirror and just see a stranger, a perfectly fine stranger, but not the you dreamed of being. Or maybe you speak, and the words just don't carry the weight you want them to. It's a quiet desperation, isn't it? A hum beneath the surface of your everyday. That's how it started for her. Let's call her Elara. A quiet woman, you know the type. Blended into the background like wallpaper. Good enough at her job, good enough at small talk, but never great. Never the one anyone truly noticed. Her voice, she always thought, was too thin, too easily lost in the general din of the world. And her face, well, she'd inherited her mother's practicality, not her grandmother's delicate beauty. So when she saw the flyer, tucked away on a corkboard in a coffee shop she rarely visited, it spoke to that ache. Sanctuary of Aeliana, it read, in graceful, almost glowing script. Become your truest self. Embrace purity. Desire no more. Vague, yes, but then, desperation doesn't always look for specifics. It looks for a glimmer. The first meeting was unsettling. Not in an obvious way. No chance, no robes. Just a small gathering in a rented community hall. Fluorescent lights humming, the smell of dust and old coffee. But the people, oh, the people, they were beautiful. Not just pretty, but truly exquisite. Flawless skin, eyes that shone with an unnerving serenity, voices that were like music. They moved with a grace that felt almost otherworldly, and they all smiled. Constantly. That same gentle, knowing smile. And then there was him, the Weaver. That's what they called him. He wasn't overtly charismatic, not in the way a televangelist is. No booming voice, no grand gestures. He just was. Sat at the front, quietly, observing. When he did speak, his voice was soft, like warm river stones, but it filled the room. He spoke of resonance, of aligning one's inner spirit with their outer form, of the true self, buried beneath layers of societal expectation and impurity. He said, if you were truly pure in your desire, truly ready to shed your old skin, he could help you. He could breathe a new form into being, a perfect form, a voice that would carry. Elara was skeptical, of course. She watched, she listened. But the testimonials, they weren't dramatic. Just quiet, sincere stories of people who had felt lost, unseen, and then, after the Weaver's touch, found their true place, their true beauty. They were glowing. They truly were. She watched a woman, who must have once been ordinary, describe feeling utterly, completely whole for the first time. The quiet desperation in Elara's own chest began to throb a little louder. She went back, again and again. She learned about purity, not as a moral judgment, but as a state of absolute, unburdened intent. It wasn't about being good, but about being empty of all prior notions, all attachments to the old self. Just a pure vessel, ready to be filled. That's what it felt like. And slowly, painfully, she started to let go. Her old life, her old job, her small apartment, the quiet hopes she'd harbored for the woman she was. She told herself it was just clearing the way for the woman she was meant to be. Finally, it was her turn. The Weaver called her name, soft as a bell. The room was different now, somehow. Warmer. Scented with something subtle, like jasmine and rain. She knelt before him, her heart thumping a frantic rhythm against her ribs. His hands, cool and smooth, cupped the sides of her head, just above her ears. His eyes, impossibly deep, met hers. He didn't smile, not exactly. It was more like an ancient knowing. "Are you pure, Elara?" he murmured, his voice a low vibration that seemed to settle deep in her bones. "Are you truly ready to be remade?" She swallowed, her throat suddenly dry. "Yes," she croaked, her old, thin voice wavering. "Yes, I am." He took a slow, deep breath, and then he blew. It wasn't a gust of wind, not like blowing out a candle. It was a pressure, a warm, vibrating current that flowed into her, through her scalp, down into her very core. It felt like every cell in her body was being rearranged, reset. A soft light seemed to bloom behind her eyes, then burst outward. A shimmer, like heat rising from asphalt, distorted her vision. A sound, like 1,000 tiny bells, rang in her ears, then faded to a profound, shimmering silence. And then, nothing. She woke on a silken couch, in a room she didn't recognize. Soft light filtered through tall, narrow windows. A mirror, ornate and silver-framed, hung on the opposite wall. She pushed herself up, feeling lighter, different. Her hands, when she raised them, were slender, graceful. Not her hands. Not exactly. She went to the mirror. Oh my God. It wasn't just beautiful. It was perfect. Her face was sculpted, her skin luminous, her eyes large and a startling shade of amethyst she'd never had before. Her hair, a cascade of dark, rich waves, framed a jawline that could cut glass. Her lips, full and rose-petal soft, parted slightly in awe. She raised a hand to her face, touching the flawless skin, the elegant curve of her nose. This wasn't just better than her old self. This was a goddess. She opened her mouth, and a rich, melodic hum spilled out. She tried to speak her name. "Elara?" The sound was deep, resonant, intoxicating. It was a voice that would make anyone listen. A voice that would command attention. A voice that was utterly, completely not hers. But so much better, so much more. She spent the first few days in a haze of wonder. Everything was different. People looked at her, truly saw her. They smiled, they deferred. The other beautiful people of Aeliana welcomed her with those same serene, knowing smiles. They spoke of the weaver's grace, of the profound peace of their new lives. They seemed so content, so whole. But after a week, a small, tiny sliver of unease began to prickle at her. Like a splinter you can't quite see. She tried to remember her old life, her old apartment, the leaky faucet, the faded floral couch. It felt distant, like a dream that wasn't quite her own. She tried to picture her old face, her old, plain features. But the image was fuzzy, like trying to recall a minor character from a forgotten film. It was gone, replaced by the perfect reflection in every surface she passed. She tried to hum an old tune, a silly jingle from a commercial she remembered from childhood. Her new voice, so pure and melodic, couldn't quite grasp the off-key cadence, the slight rasp it used to have. It smoothed it out, perfected it, until it was just a pretty tune. Not her tune. And the desires. Her old self had wanted to travel, to write, to bake terrible, lopsided cakes. Her new self just wanted to be serene, to meditate, to absorb the quiet wisdom of Aeliana, to exist in beauty, to perform the small, perfect tasks that the sanctuary required. It was a deep, unshakable contentment, a programmed contentment. One afternoon, she walked past a window and caught her reflection. Her face, her beautiful, perfect goddess face. And for the first time, She saw it clearly. It was the same face, the same type of face as all the others, the same serene expression, the same unnervingly perfect features. All slightly different, yes, but all cut from the same cloth, all echoing the weaver's impeccable design. She tried to frown, to let out a small, frustrated sigh, but her new face seemed to resist the impulse. Her new voice wouldn't allow the sound. The muscles felt unfamiliar with such expressions, as if they had forgotten how. She tried to remember her old name, the one her mother had given her. Elara. The sound felt alien, a whisper from a distant, forgotten dream. She was no longer Elara. She was just one of them, one of the beautiful, serene, utterly perfected residents of Aeliana, the pure, new form the weaver had breathed into being. And you know what the worst part is? That ache, that quiet desperation she used to feel? It's gone, completely, replaced by a profound, unwavering peace, a peace that settles into your bones, telling you everything is exactly as it should be, that you are exactly as you should be. You see her sometimes, don't you? That perfect stranger, walking with a serene smile, a kind word for everyone, eyes that reflect nothing but profound calm. Just a little too perfect, a little too serene. And you wonder, if you listen closely enough, if you lean in, can you hear the ghost of a different voice, struggling beneath that polished, beautiful perfection? Or is it truly gone forever?